This one I call the RK Fatty because I try to keep the white tires on the front and the back. And I actually, what's unique about this bike is the front suspension. It's all fully leaf springed. Also, this piece right here, it's a lot of machining to make a headlight and a tack bracket at the same unit. And we move to the RK backbone, which is the first. This is the first bike I've ever built. It's got the 6-inch backbone tubing that I put the gas tank inside the tubing, the frame, and the oil tank is also in the tube frame on the bottom. Also, this one, what you call a girder suspension, front end, with the air ride in the front and a solid in the back, no suspension in the back. We move to the RK Racer. I try to keep the theme of the racer bike in it, skinny tires, tall, and what's unique about this bike is actually the oil tank and the gas tank is incorporated in the middle section, which is the frame, and you can actually see the oil through the glass and the gas through the glass also. And I got the headlight put in the intake. I don't know if the battery's still good, but you can see it's in the carburetor. And also the brake is on the transmission. It's called a trainee brake. So to keep the wheel nice and clean, no rotors, no nothing on there. All right, this one is what I call the RK chain. This idea started with this chain that I found at a junkyard. And I knew what when I first saw it, I laid my eyes on it, I knew what I was gonna use it for. It's actually the whole backbone of the bike. And also a smaller section of that frame that I found also, I incorporated in the swing arm also. And it's, of course, it has the 360 monster tire in the back, and like the seat is also, it's a leaf spring seat that's also adjustable. If it's too low, you can move it up one notch and then be a little higher, or you can go a little even further up, as you can see. Okay, and then this bike actually, when I built it, I didn't want to hide the chain because I want to show that whole backbone, and I couldn't figure out what I'm going to do with the gas tank on this. I kept thinking, it took me actually a couple of months to figure out, and I finally decided to actually wear the gas tank. And this is actually an old fire extinguisher that I actually have a back piece with straps hooked up to it, and I actually use it for gas tank, and I plug it in here with a quick connect and wear it on my back. This is the RK thing. It's I decided to do a trike. I've never done a trike before. I've actually never even ridden a trike before, but I wanted to do something a little different, and decided to build a trike. And the idea came from I wanted to build something with like a crane design. So I built the whole frame to look like a crane, and then of course the swing arm and a wheelie bar. And I wanted to do something different with the suspension. So the cranes usually have cabling. So I'm like, okay, well, how can I use the suspension with a cable, incorporate those two together? And I decided to do a pulley system suspension for the back and the front, and it's also adjustable. I can show you if you want to come with me to the front here. Okay, here's the cabling suspension on each side. It's one cable going through multiple pulleys going through the other sides, and it's actually adjustable. As you can see, the ride height right now is pretty low, and you can adjust it as the height you want. And also, what's really cool about this bike, I didn't want to hide the frame with the gas tank. I decided to actually put the gas tank inside the upper fairing. This piece right here, people think it's just to block the wind. It's actually, no, it's actually also the gas tank. And this here is the gas gauge. This is my favorite. This is, I just finished this actually. It's what I call the RK bearing. The idea started as when I coming back from Sturgis last year, I wanted to build a bike with 3 wheels and use the center wheel as the frame. And then idea changed, and it came, and I come up with actually with the help of a friend of mine, we rolled a stainless steel flat bar to a perfect circle and got it to function, made it actually a ball bearing. So the frame is actually a huge giant bearing that function. Let me show you. I'm going to show you. As you can see here, it's all a bunch of ball bearings in there. And I'd like to show you how the suspension works. The outer bearing race is actually the front part of the bike and the seat. And the inner bearing is the motor mount and the swing arm. Can you kind of see that? Mm-hmm. You see how the swing arm is bolted to the inner race? And the gas tank is also bolted to the inner race. I would like to show you how this works here. Get it off the kickstand here. And I'm going to sit on it. Okay, now I'm sitting on the bike. And if you can see here, the suspension, how it's working. Are you able to see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so as you can see, it's going from the outer race, through the outer race, into the mounted to the inner race. So that's how it functions as a suspension. Okay, and for a radiator, I didn't want to use a normal radiator, so I got a flex hose. As you can see here, a stainless steel flex hose to come around the whole the size of the bearing, and it's mounted to the outer race, and it's actually also functions as the coolant system in the motor. And the theme of the bike is actually a bearing. So the wheels, they were solid wheels. I machined the whole wheel to take a giant bearing and made the hubs to fit inside the bearing.